Stage 6, the first GC day of the race. You see it's a relatively short 160.5K action-packed stage with a summit finish. And here was the breakaway of the day. We saw a 14-man group up the road, and they got more than 8 minutes at one point. So it was a big gap for a big group. And there's some strong riders in there. We have Wellens, who has a KOM jersey, out there hunting points. And we see his teammate in there, DeGent, who is a known breakaway artist. So it's a strong group, and they got a lot of time. It looked like they might be able to make it to the finish. We saw Greipel in the breakaway as well, which was good to see, but as the profile might suggest, he was the first one to get dropped. And we saw Wellens was taking KOM points, and the ones he wasn't getting, his teammate DeGent was picking those up so no one else could have them. And as it got closer to the line, we saw that happen on a smaller climb, and DeGent got a gap, and he used that as a springboard for his own attack. And like I said, he's a known breakaway artist, really strong guy. I thought he had a pretty good chance at winning this stage at that point. But DeGent got reeled back in, and what we saw was a four-man group. We had Toons, Ciccone, who won a stage at the Giro just a month ago, and the KOM jersey, and we had Wellens and Maurice. And they had a gap of 4 minutes at the bottom of that last climb, so it looked like someone from the breakaway was going to win it for the day. And at the end of the day, it was Ciccone and Toons proved the strongest two out of the four. And we saw at the end, Toons was just too strong. You know what? He's a really strong classics guy. He's had some top 10 results in the classics, but this is probably the biggest win of his career. It's a good win. You see here at the line, he went up to celebrate, but it's so steep that the guy had to come and push him out of the way before someone behind crashed into him. Now, Ciccone, he was the top placed rider in GC out of the breakaway, and he had a chance at yellow here. So he was, it didn't really look like he was fighting for it at the line. I think he didn't think that he had a chance to get it. So with the stage honors gone, it was a GC battle behind, and we saw it was really more a battle of attrition than anything. We saw that Landa attacked with 3K to go, but he was reeled in. No one really put in a big dig except for Thomas. Thomas here proved to be the strongest of the GC guys, and you see Alaphilippe just behind, trying to stay in yellow, but he didn't quite make it at the end of the day. And you know what? Quickstep, they have to be kicking themselves because Alaphilippe proved he had the form to keep yellow today, but they just didn't keep the breakaway close enough. On the other hand, Team Ineos, they really played it to perfection. They didn't seem to care about the breakaway. They weren't doing a whole lot of work, even though they have the strongest team and they could have easily controlled the race. They didn't do it. They saved their energy, and here we saw that Thomas proved to be the strongest guy of the day. And even though he crashed out of the Tour de Suisse, he hasn't had that many race days. He hasn't showed a ton of form before the race, but he looks really strong. And it's still early. There are a lot of climbs in that last week. It's a 3-week race, a long way to go, but he looks to be the strongest. So let's look at the top 10, focusing on the GC. You see Thomas there in fourth, the best of the GC guys. Pinot only 2 seconds back, a really strong ride for him, promising for the rest of the race. And Quintana, he was only 7 seconds back, so that's a good sign for him. We know that, the team time trial let him down a little bit, so he's still got some time to make up, but he's looking strong. And there's a group of 4 that only lost 9 seconds on Thomas: Fuglsang, Landa, Port, and Bernal, so they're looking pretty good. Yates lost 14 seconds, Uran lost 18 seconds. Then you see bigger gaps open up. We have Moss lost 33 seconds on Thomas. Kreuzwick lost 35. Nibali looks like he's tired from the Giro. He lost 51 seconds. And then Bardet, Valverde, they're over a minute back on the day. So here's the GC after the stage. You see Ciccone is in yellow. Alaphilippe missed out by 6 seconds. And then Thomas here, he's basically the line of reference there, 49 seconds back. You've got Bernal is only 4 seconds back, so maybe he didn't show the form we wanted today, but he's still only 4 seconds back, so Ineos still has 2 leaders, and they have those cards to play. And you'll see that Pinot, he's only 15 seconds back on Thomas, so he had a strong day today. They had a strong team time trial. He's having a great start to the race. He's within striking distance. We see Uran, he lost 18 seconds today, but only 24 seconds back on Thomas overall, so that's not too bad. And then we see Fuglsang, he's 28 seconds back on Thomas. And we saw that crash early on. We wondered how he's doing. Is his knee okay? It's a good result for him today. He should be happy about that. So we're going to see 32 seconds from Thomas to Moss, 35 seconds to Yates, and 52 seconds to Quintana. So Quintana had a good day today, but he's still losing time from that team time trial. So he's 52 seconds back. Landa is 53 seconds back. So those two are neck and neck. And we did see that Valverde, he's pretty much out of the picture. He was taking pulls at the front. I think he knows he doesn't have it this year. And I think we're going to see him riding for the team if today is any indication. And then we see Port. Port had a good day today, but also he's still a minute 7 back because of that team time trial. And Nibali didn't look great today. He's also a minute and 7 back. So it's probably over for Nibali, definitely over for Valverde. And Bardet is still over 2 minutes back, and he didn't look strong today either. So who are some winners and losers for today? Obviously, Ineos, I believe, are big winners. Thomas looks super strong. Bernal's only 4 seconds back, and if Thomas falters, he's right there. Pinot looks excellent. He's less than 10 seconds down, so it's looking good for those guys. Now, who are big losers from today? I mean, I gotta say, Alaphilippe. He could have kept the yellow jersey probably all the way until the time trial. And maybe he'll fight to get it back, but they didn't really keep the gap under control to the breakaway, and they're not going to be happy with that. Here's tomorrow's route. Looks like a sprint is long, 230K. There are a few Cat 4s and a Cat 3 early on, but look at how flat it is towards the end. Should be a day for the sprinters. We see there are some sprinters that still are lacking a victory, and they'll be fighting hard for it today. And here are the last 5 kilometers. You see it's pan flat. No kickers to worry about. Perfect for the super fast guys. And here's the overhead map of the end of the race, and we see there are quite a few turns, a lot of things to worry about for these sprint trains to stay together and keep it upright. And we'll see here there's a pretty hard left-hand turn at the roundabout there, but it's well over a K from the finish, so it shouldn't have too much of an impact. And the weather's looking pretty good too, but look at that, it's pretty windy. And that looks like it might be a tailwind or a cross tailwind at the end there. So who is my prediction for tomorrow? Gonna be a sprint. Again, I still think the top 3 guys are Viviani, Ewan, and Groenewegen. And Sagan, he's more of a reduced sprint kind of guy. But you know what? He looked strong in stage 1, and he has a victory now, so pressure is off. So maybe he has a pretty good chance tomorrow. But I'm going to pick Groenewegen. I think Viviani, he already got his win when Quickstep was riding a high wave, and they didn't have a good day yesterday, so he no longer has that wave of emotion. Now, we look at Ewan. He was looking pretty strong early on, but he's been poorly positioned and really, he's been boxed in and hasn't really shown himself yet. So I'm going to pick Groenewegen. I think it didn't look like the crash hurt him too much on the last sprint stage. He just wasn't positioned very well. So I think if he can be in a good position, have a good lead out, he can show himself to still be the strongest sprinter of the day. So I pick Groenewegen tomorrow. The yellow jersey should not change hands. But I have to admit, guys, I haven't had a good record in my predictions. I've only predicted one winner, and that was the Alaphilippe stage. That was pretty well obvious to almost everyone. So, and you take a look at stage 6, it went exactly backwards of what I thought it would. I didn't think the break would make it. I thought Bernal would show himself stronger than Thomas, and it ended up the break did make it. Thomas showed himself to be the strongest. So, Groenewegen, you guys go bet against him. Probably pick Ewan for the win, and you might win. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. Long sprint stage. See you then.